Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a really profound way of looking at life's journey. It's this idea that our highest highs and our lowest lows, well, maybe they aren't so random after all. Maybe they're part of a much bigger story. So let's get into it.
Just stop and think about that for a second. Every amazing moment of joy and every single period of, crushing failure. What if none of it was just chaos? What if it was all part of some grand design? It's a huge question, right? One that people have been wrestling with forever. And it turns out the answer might just lie in an ancient reflection on this one single powerful idea: dispersion. Now, that word might not mean much to you yet, but as you'll see, this concept, well, it has the power to completely reframe how we see the human experience. All right, so to kick things off, let's just ground ourselves in a truth that, let's be honest, every single one of us lives with. Section 1, life's unavoidable duality, that constant back and forth between joy and suffering, success and failure. You see, the core idea we're exploring is that life isn't about getting either the good stuff or the bad stuff. No, it's that every single part of our existence has its own unique mix of both. It's not a bug in the system, it's a feature. This blend of blessings and curses is quite literally the fabric of our reality. So you might be asking, where does this perspective even come from? And that brings us right to Section 2, an ancient perspective. The wisdom we're digging into today comes from a really fascinating Serbian reflection on this whole journey of life. So on the screen here is the original text. And you don't have to speak the language to just feel the weight of these words, right? It sounds ancient, it sounds important, but what on earth is it actually saying? Okay, here's the translation. It's talking about how we experience both blessings and curses while we're scattered or dispersed among different nations. But here's the key, the most important part. It invites us to remember these experiences, to hold them deep in our hearts. This isn't just a casual memory. It's something way, way deeper. So what is this dispersion of the nations? Well, according to this text, it's a foundational event in our history. It's this idea of a divinely guided scattering of people. And the whole point was to push humanity into new experiences, new challenges, to really broaden their horizons. And in a way, you could say that each of our lives is its own kind of dispersion, our own personal journey through unfamiliar territory. Now, this is where it gets really good. In Section 3, we see how this idea of dispersion is itself both a blessing and a curse. The concept itself is the perfect example of life's duality. Yep, two sides of the very same coin. So, on one hand, this scattering is a huge blessing. Think about it. When people move, when cultures mix, it creates incredible diversity. It sparks new ideas. It drives societies forward. We get new ways of seeing the world, new ways of living. It's growth. But, and this is a big but, there's the other side. That exact same separation that creates all that good stuff, it can also lead to isolation, to misunderstanding, and, to conflict. The very thing that creates diversity can also create division. And that tension, that's right at the heart of the human story. So if we're all living in this constant state of tension, what are we supposed to do? Well, the text doesn't just leave us hanging. It offers a really powerful tool. And that brings us to Section 4, the power of remembering, and how it literally shapes our spirit. And this right here, this is the absolute key. The text doesn't just say, hey, recall some facts from your past. No. It calls on us to keep these experiences, the good, the bad, all of it, close to our hearts. It's an emotional, almost spiritual practice of weaving our entire past into who we are in this very moment. And this just brilliantly breaks down why we need both. Okay, so when we remember the blessings, those moments of success and joy, that fosters this deep sense of gratitude. It becomes like a shield, a buffer for when times get tough. And then on the flip side, when we remember the curses, the heartbreaks, the failures, we're not doing it to wallow in misery. We're doing it to build resilience. It forges strength and gets us ready for whatever life is going to throw at us next. So when you put it all together, this powerful act of remembering is what shapes our spirit. It's not about picking one or the other. It's about embracing the whole story, because that is how we build both gratitude for the good times and resilience for the bad.
Okay, so we get the how. But what about the why? Why do all this? Let's zoom out for the big picture in our final section, Section 5, Finding Wisdom in the Journey. What is the ultimate point of holding on to this whole messy, beautiful, complicated history of ours?
And first things first, the text is super clear about what this isn't for. The goal isn't to get bogged down in the past, not by reliving old pains, and not by getting lost in some hazy nostalgia for the good old days. That completely misses the point.
Instead, the goal is to find a kind of wisdom. It's about embracing this bigger picture, understanding that life is a balanced, holistic journey. It's about learning to genuinely appreciate every high and every low, not as random luck, but as meaningful chapters in a bigger story. Or, as the text puts it, finding God's will in every single circumstance. At the end of the day, what it all boils down to is this. This practice of remembering, it's like a compass. It's a way to navigate all the chaos of life and find your way back to what truly matters. A life built on faith, on personal dignity, and on doing the right thing. And that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to take with you. When you look back at your own journey, your own personal dispersion, what memory, whether it's a blessing or a curse, holds the most important piece of wisdom for you right now?